Okay, guys and gals, about 10 seconds of the obligatory disclaimer. If you want to read the whole thing, just pause the video. Okay, everybody, let's take a look at the S&P 500. I'm going to talk about where I think it's headed. We'll look at the cycles and maybe a few other things. Okay, the market just opened up actually, just as I started this video, which this wasn't intentional, just happened to turn out that way. 5 o'clock p.m. here in Central Standard Time in Texas, so the market just opened up. Opened up at 45.33-ish, 34. Okay, so that's what it's doing there. And today, of course, is Sunday, the March 27th, so, but this is basically the Monday session already started. We're looking at the futures. Okay, S&P 500 futures. Okay, June 22 contracts /ES. Of course, you can also trade the MES. Okay, if you're trading futures. Also going to look at crude oil today and gold. Okay, I'll go through the different time frames. So let's get started. The cycles have moved. So this was quad witching, which, guys, I totally missed quad witching. I've been so busy with my new job, I just missed it. If I had known this was quad witching here in the middle of March, I absolutely would have had the cycles hitting a low right here. I just, that one's on me. Just haven't been able to spend as much time as I normally would. So anyway, this is a cycle low right here, obviously. That's this big yellow cycle. Okay. And that happened on March 15th. This cycle low, let's see, what does it say here? March 14th, close enough. Okay, so if you want to know what the next one is, that would be May 2nd. It's way over here. Okay. There's also a possibility of something happening around April 26th, okay? So you've got May 2nd here and April 26th right there. This is the daily chart. So just be aware of that. Okay. So the market's pretty strong, right? Broke above the 50-day moving average right here. The 50-day moving average at the moment still pointing down. Okay, still kind of pointing down here. So until it turns and flattens out and comes up, we're still in a downward cycle, or downward trend, and you need to be aware of that. Okay. All right. So the other thing I want to point out here is we're getting a divergence warning on the Big Daddy forecast, and that's that little white dot you see right there, and there's two white dots here on the stochastic momentum index indicator. Okay. So usually when I see a white dot, okay, or a yellow, it could even be a yellow dot or red, because you see some back here. But if I see white dots on both indicators, that's usually a pretty good indication that we could be getting into a divergence. Now, we just came out of this low, and we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days. So I wouldn't say it's just out of the low, but almost 10 straight days of upward. Yeah, a little chop right there for a few days right there. But it's been 10 straight days for the most part. Maybe 7 out of 10 days have been upward, or maybe as much as 8. 2 of them were sideways. The rest, one. These two were sideways. These two were sideways. So maybe 7 out of 10 last trading days were pretty much moving upward. Market looks pretty strong. Okay, but these divergence warnings are something we need to keep an eye on, especially if we get some yellow dots that come in after this. Okay, or even red. All right. The other thing is, I worked on a new algorithm to identify cycle lows. You can see it here, right? This here, here, here. Anywhere you see these chain of dots. Now, I haven't had a chance to get back to this because I've been so busy, but what I really want to say is these are working pretty good. They're usually within a day or two of being very accurate, okay? But we don't see any yellow dots over here, okay? Meaning the start of a new chain of dots, okay? They could be up, they could be down, doesn't really matter. Okay, sometimes you see these chains move upward, sometimes you see them moving downward, okay? It doesn't really matter. The point is when these chains of dots start, usually, almost always, but not always, there's a few exceptions, but almost always you're going to get a low somewhere. You're going to get this. You're going to get either an identifiable cycle low, or you might get a temporary low. Like look at these two dots right here. These two. Let me clear the screen. Just show you an example of an exception, right? These two dots right here. Well, they just really make up this small little 2-day drop. Okay, and then a couple days later, though, it continued on, and sure enough, we got a nice little move down in the market. Okay. So usually when you see these dots start to form like that, that's a pretty good indication that there's more downward price action to come. So let me just look at this dot right here. Let's look at this one. Okay. It's a little late, right? This is definitely late. You can tell. You look at this dot. If we were trying to catch these 3 days, forget it. We totally missed it, right? So I'm really cautious about doing any kind of trading just on a few dots. Okay. But sometimes, and I think, excuse me, if I look at a cycle, the cycles will help you time to make use of these dots, okay? So what do I mean? Well, this is the beginning of a new cycle. Let's just look at the green one because the yellow one's new. Okay, just look at this green one though. That one's been there for a while. These green cycles have been on this chart for quite a while. Okay, so if I see these 3 dots like this and kind of in a new cycle, I'm going to be kind of cautious because this is still kind of early in this cycle, right? It's a little bit on the left side of the middle of that cycle. So it's a little early for me to get optimistic about trying to trade this short side. So I wouldn't do that. Okay, and wherever there aren't any dots could potentially be long side trades. Okay. But when I start to see some yellow dots like this, these group of yellow dots, okay, and they're on this side of the middle of this cycle right here on this side, oh man, that's gangbuster time. That's time to trade if you're a short side trader. Okay, if you're not a short side trader, then you'd wait till these dots end and you'd catch this second candlestick right there. Let me just zoom in a little bit more here. Clear the screen out. So everybody hang with me on this, okay? So if you don't want to do short side trading, then you wait till these dots end, okay? And you'd catch that candlestick right there. Or you could even wait until you get to this one, but you'd have to, it's a little sketchy there, right? Because you got some red days mixed with green days. All right, but this one's super strong. 2 dots, and then that day right there was an absolute monster long trade day. For you who people don't want to trade short, then you would trade this candlestick right here, okay? All right, so anyway, you got my thoughts on where I think the cycles are going, okay? May 3rd, May 2nd-ish, May 3rd, and then that one I think is April 26th, the next cycle low, okay? Now that's kind of a ways off, so I think there's other cycles in here, to be quite honest with you, some smaller cycles. All right, I do think there's some smaller cycles in here. Probably minimum halfway through this cycle. So I'm just going to ballpark this. Okay. This one was about 315, 314, somewhere in there. So I'm going to put a little mark right here. Okay. That's about April 7th. So that's the midway point of this yellow cycle. And I think we can expect prices to probably begin to stall up in here right around the first week of April. It may come up even more. Who knows? I don't know. Could start stalling now. We'll just keep an eye on the price action. But that 4/7 date would be something that I would think is going to see price action stalling or declining or something kind of flattening out and beginning to stall. Okay. For right now, the market still looks pretty strong as far as the indicators. Some divergence warnings, and we're going to be looking to see if these dots start to show up. If they start to show up, that's weakness in the market. Okay, let me switch over to the monthly, then we will do the weekly and the hourly. So let me get on the monthly here, go to the monthly drawing set. That's still going to be June. June 28th, nothing's changed, but check this out, guys. Look at these 3 dots. Hello. Okay. If you go back in time, you notice 4 dots, 3 dots, 4 dots. But you get something like this, 2 dots, 1 dot, 4 dots, a whole slew of dots. Okay, I think we're headed for something like this, guys. Maybe something back here. That's where I think we're headed. We're not in for the little 1Z, 3, 2. No. We're in for a chain of dots. Okay. Maybe it goes a little bit into 2022, 2023, whatever. This is 2023 over here. This is 2022. This line here, this section here. Okay. So I think we're in for some more price decline. It may not happen all at once. You can see back over here, you had some months that were up. Okay, this is what people, you need to be aware of this. That people look at the daily chart and go, oh, we're going all-time highs. We're going all-time highs. We might, but I'm inclined to not think so. But it could happen. Okay. But we are so far, this is what you need to really pay attention to. We are so far removed from the 50-month moving average, it's not even funny. We will return to this line. When, I don't know. Could be way out in 2023. But make no mistake, guys. The SMI, the MACD is touching, trying to cross over. Divergence warnings all over the place. So I don't think this thing is over by a long shot on a long-term basis. Okay, let's look at the weekly. Let me switch to my weekly time frame. May 2nd. Okay. Which is pretty much what the daily says. Now that I'm so stupid, I really made a stupid mistake here. Now that I look back, and I remember looking at these cycles a couple weeks ago, and I noticed that May 2nd was not lining up with the daily. That should have been my clue right there that that my analysis was a little off. But now it lines up sweet. And of course, I got to give a shout out to Steve Miller, Slim, Mr. probably 45 years plus of trading. Okay. Commodity futures trader and every trader, that guy, oh my gosh. So good at cycle analysis. But I missed the quad witching. He won the bet. I had to, if you don't know who Steve Miller is, you can go check out his channel. I think it's Ask Slim. Got his own website too. You can go check out his services. He's got really good services. I've talked about him before. I've subscribed to him off and on over the years. I'm not currently. But of course, I want you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. But this is only going to premium members, guys. I don't put this out to the public anymore. You already know my crying the blues story about YouTube. I don't waste my time putting out content on YouTube for the public community because YouTube has basically shadow banned me, and they still pull subscribers out from me. They kind of slowed it down, but they basically stopped all new subscribers from coming into my channel. If a new subscriber comes on, they'll take one off. If 10 come on, they'll take 10 off. If 20 come on, they might take 25 or 30 off. That's what they do. They're just like... So anyway, my crying the blue story on YouTube. So I don't put out content to the general community anymore when it comes to the charts. So you guys are the last of the last. This is it. When the premium members finally all leave and vacate, if that happens, then I'm just going to shut down the premium membership, and that's going to be the end of it. I'm not going to worry about it. Right now, I still have some premium members, but it's dwindling little by little. Which is, it's just, it's unfortunate, Have to put up with the likes of YouTube and Google. And they're horrible, horrible organizations. I hate them. I don't hate them because I try to not hate, but I dislike them a lot. They are just horrible. And it's sad because I was trying to build a nice content and service for people at a really cheap price that people could come and enjoy and not have to spend a bunch of money doing it. And yeah, of course, I wanted to build my brand too. I don't deny that, but it would have been really nice if YouTube would just stop being such blank holes. But anyway, you guys are it. You're the only ones getting this content. So anyway, back to the weekly chart here, May 2nd. I really think this is a very good cycle because it really lines up with the daily now, and it makes perfect sense. So if you want to know what that is, that's May 2nd right there. And this one over here, guys, is going to be, guys and gals, going to be about, let's see, the week of 8/22, 8/28. Let's call it the week of 8/28, 8/29, right there. Okay. So this is May 2nd over here on a weekly. Excuse my chicken scratch. That's supposed to be a 5. 5/2. This is right around 8/20, 8-ish, something like that. So those are the weekly. Now on the weekly chart, this has gotten above the 50. which that's pretty strong. So we'll have to pay attention to that. Okay, so there's your weekly. Okay, let's switch over to the hourly. I haven't done this in a while. Let's look at the hourly. Let me look at the hourly chart. Okay. Unfortunately, I have to go up and do this ridiculous play with the time frame thingy. We're going to knock this all the way out to like 200 and give this ample room to breathe. Okay. So for those that want to know the hourly, March 28th, 6 a.m. Texas time. That's that right there. March 28th, 6 a.m. Texas time. So pause the video, do your thing. March 29th, about 5 p.m. That's this one. These are all Texas times. March 29th, 5 p.m. Let's see. That's right smack dab in the middle of the hourly, so I don't mind that. This market's been pretty strong, right above the 50-hour. So the cycles aren't as obvious. Looks like they may have moved a little bit. Let me just take a look at this. It's possible they moved just a little bit off. So let me, you know what, guys? Let's see. Let me remove this. Let's try this. Let me look at something here. Let me just see if things line up. Yeah, this ain't bad. It's a little off. Little off. Maybe move to the right a little. Let me move this to the right just a touch. Let's try this again. Okay, going back, maybe like right there is not too bad. Let's try this. Let me just look at this for a second. That's pretty solid. Pretty solid. Yeah. This one's really good. Let me go back a little bit more. Oh yeah, that one's nailed. Okay, so I'm good with this. We got about 4 out of 5 cycles. 4 out of 5 cycles are absolutely nailing the low, so this is a good sign. All right, so let me just redo this. You may have to rework your times. Sorry about that. Let's do this again. Let's look at this. What do we got? Okay. Okay, I'm happy with this. Let's do this. We got March 29th, 1 a.m. Okay, that's the next cycle, hourly cycle lows. March 29th, 1 a.m. Sorry about that, guys. Got to start over. March 29th, 1 a.m. is right here. The one after that, March 30th, 4 p.m., which is right at the closing of the futures market. About an hour after the intraday market closes. Okay. March 29th. This was March 30th, my bad. March 30th, 4 p.m. Now, I don't know if these are weekends or not, so you'll have to do your own due diligence. I'm just giving you the times, okay? March 30th, 4 p.m. Right there. The next one after that, April 1st, 7 a.m. April 1st, 7 a.m. Okay, the one after that, April 4th, about 9 p.m. Okay, there you go. You got quite a bit hourly. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, and you know, getting way out here could be a little dangerous because cycles could change. But if you really want that one way out there, April 6th, about high noon, as we say here in Texas. High noon, boys. Let's go get them. April 6th, about high noon. Okay. So that's it. There's your hourly stuff. What do I see on the hourly chart? Well, pretty strong market. Most of it's right above the 50-hour. Okay. I'm not trading, guys and gals, any stocks. I'm not trading any commodities or futures. I've been just buying corporate bonds just because of the nature of inflation. And I haven't been active. I've been so busy working my job, I haven't had time to do any kind of real trading. So I'm just in the mode of, taking my income, buying corporate bonds, and earning interest. That's where I'm at. That's what I'm doing. So if you want to know what I'm doing, that's what I'm doing. Now, occasionally, this market probably will eventually stop going up, and it's going to start weakening again. I'm pretty sure it's going to happen here in the not too distant future. And when that happens, for me, because I'm going to go back to the daily, and then we're going to switch to crude oil. But just real quick here, go back to the daily. For me, I'm really, limited to swing trades, which means anywhere from a few days to maybe even a few weeks. Because of my day job, I really can't trade intraday, just too busy. So I'll be paying attention to this cycle we're in right here, this big old yellow cycle, and even this green one. Okay, and as we get into this time area over here, like I talked about earlier in the video, then I might trade a few E-micro S&P 500 futures and just take advantage of it and make whatever. I may make a few $100 on it and just be done with it. Meantime, I'm just going to keep basically building my asset base on corporate bonds. So that's my story. All right, let's go look at crude oil. Crude oil. Get the chart to play nice here. Crude oil up here to $111. I'm sorry about this thing being so out of whack. It's just these dots are messing things up. So I tell you what I'm gonna do. Give me a second. I'm gonna cut the video and come right back. Let me get rid of the dots. That should clean up this chart. Give me a second. We're gonna get rid of cycle low. I'm just gonna take the study and that's what those yellow dots are. That's me working on the algorithm for cycle. I'm calling it cycle low, okay? Apply it. That should get rid of that and give us a nice chart. All right, cool. All right, so that cycle low is messing up charts on anything but the S&P 500. It's just because of the price range. The charts are using. I'll have to get some dynamic logic in there, and it needs to be a little bit more smarter and figure out which product we're on. Then I can massage the range a little better. But anyway, programming nonsense. Let's look at these daily cycles for crude oil. Do they still make sense? Looking really good there. Looking marvelous right there. Still pretty good right there. That one's still bang on. This little one knee knocker there. Yeah, I'm still happy with this. Okay. So with that being said, let's stretch this out a little bit. April 10th, guys, for those who want to know about crude oil, or you're just interested in watching commodities and inflation go crazy, don't get me going on politics and the great president we have sitting up there in the White House. Hold on a second. Oh, I had a little sneeze there. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, so that's what that is. That's about April 10th, was it? Yeah, April 10th, guys and gals. That'll be the cycle low for crude oil right there. Okay, you want to know the next one after that? That's about April 4th or 5th. Okay. I'm sorry, May 4th or 5th. My bad. So this is May 4th. This is April 10th. And these cycles for crude oil look pretty reliable most of the time. This one is not, but this one was. So this is the way I look at cycle analysis, guys. When I'm trying to look at percentages and probabilities, I want to see how many times I hit. How many times does my cycles that I'm drawing, how many times are they successfully hitting? And I got 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 4 out of 5. If my math serves me right, that equals 80%. Okay. Because 5 goes into 40, for those that want to know, 8 times. Woohoo! Okay, and then you can just tack on your 0 and do your stuff. And anyway, okay, 80%. So I feel pretty solid and pretty decent when I get an 80% hit on cycles. I'm a happy camper, okay? Now, we have a divergence warning going on here in crude oil on the stochastic momentum index, but we don't have it on the Big Daddy. But the Big Daddy shows weakness, man. Look at this stuff going down this way. Okay, but this is a rising 50-day. But regardless of what crude oil does between now and that April 10th date, just be aware that we are approaching the middle of this cycle, which is about 329. What do you know? Today is what? 328. Okay, so be aware of that. The middle of the cycle is 329, and I think we're going to see oil probably encroach upon this 50-day moving average, something like this. So that might put us in the range of $106. Okay. I wouldn't short oil just yet, but on this side of it, as we get to this side, and if price begins to erode, yeah, But above the 50-day, tough. Really tough to short oil. So, I would wait for it to do this and then bounce and then do a long, right? I wouldn't short this unless it really got below and started smacking up against the 50 and coming down. Okay. But if it's above the 50, shorting seems a bit risky to me. So I'd wait for it to bounce off of this. Even if it comes a little below and gets back above it, then I'd go long. So somewhere going into that cycle there, that's how I'd do it if I was going to trade it, in my opinion. Okay, let's look at the monthly. Okay. Sorry, guys and gals. I got to get onto the monthly here. There we go. That's better. Oh my gosh. Ooch. Gosh, oil's just on fire. Look at this thing. The next monthly low for oil is way over here. May or June of 2023. Way out there. So we already passed the one back here. December. Maybe even November of last year. Okay. So crude oil doesn't have a monthly low until May of 2023. That's a long ways off. Okay, going to the weekly. Let's see, what does it say here? April 17th, guys. That could be significant. I think the daily was April 10th. Okay, so this is 417 on the weekly. Really want to pay attention to that. That has got some significant stuff written all over it. Okay, so be aware of that. That April 17th, somewhere right in there, that second week of April, looks like oil wants to come down. Okay, I'm not going to cover the hourly on oil. Okay, let's switch over to gold. And if I could type correctly, we could get there. There we go. Let's switch to the daily. Finish up this video. Let me take a look at these cycles, make sure they still make sense to me. These are big cycles. Oh my gosh, how big are these cycles? Things are huge. 30-day cycles. 30 trading day cycles. Wow, it's pretty huge. That's an unusual cycle. It's very, very big. It's a big cycle. Let me just see. Are there any smaller cycles in here? There's a cycle right here. There's a tiny one right here. Here to here. Let me see if there's an intermediate cycle here, guys. Give me a second here. Doesn't look very promising. But it is there, and I see it in more than one place. So it is there sometimes. So some of you may be saying, what the heck's this guy talking about? So I'm going to show you something here, okay? It's not very strong, but it is there. Let me get into this little cycle here. And we'll just make this, we'll just keep it red for now. Still daily. So you'll notice this low kind of right here, this red and green line up at about the same place. Okay, let me get the little pencil. So they both come down to about the same red and green line up. But look at this little few days down. Lines up really well with that, right? And of course, red lines up with green again. And look at this, down, red, catching it. So far red's good. Over here, kind of happened, but not very strong. These two down days right there. This green cycle right here, really very good timing on the green cycle. Boom, right down into it. And even into the red one. Okay, so it's kind of there. So I'm going to leave the red one on there so it's a shorter cycle. It does make sense. Let me look at when it hits. So April 7th, guys and gals, for gold, something could happen there, April 7th, right in there. Okay? That's 4.7. So just be on the lookout that 4.7, which, by the way, I think S&P 500 and gold, and crude had something right around the same time. So there's something going on, guys, in that second week of April for a lot of these commodities. Okay, keep an eye on that. Let me look at this one. April 24th. Okay, right there. And the next red one is around 4.29 to 5.2. Okay. This one is, what is it again? About 422, 425. Right around there. 422 is probably a Friday. Okay, so that's your goal in the daily. Just looking at price action, gold is come off this. I don't know if that's an all-time high, but I think it is. If it isn't, it's got to be close to it. Gold's still just well above this 50-day moving average. So gold still looks strong. But it has crossed over here. I see some weakening here. It's crossed over. This is like this. So gold looks like it's certainly weak off the all-time highs. Okay, enough about that on the daily chart. I'm going to look at the monthly, then we'll do the weekly, and that's it. Let me look at the monthly. We can take that out. That was look at that massive breakout. Wow, beautiful thing. Massive breakout. You know, this monthly chart just looks like garbage. It just looks like garbage. I'm going to get rid of this. This monthly chart just looks like garbage. Wow. I mean, it was, let me see, it was at one point probably solid. Okay, this is not so bad. It's not so bad. Go to the right one. Yeah. Okay, this is okay. Maybe it was okay. I guess it's okay here. Looks decent. Let's go. Let's keep it back on there. I think that's where we were at. That's as good as it gets. There's a pretty good hit. Right down to there. This one's good. Wink. This one's good. Wink. This one's good. Okay, so I'm good. They're all hitting on all cylinders here, as they say. August 30th on a monthly chart. If you want to know what that is, that's way out in 2023. Okay, not this year. The following year, next year. 8/23. Oh, sorry. August of 2023. That's the next big down cycle for gold. Way out there in the future. Okay, let's look at the weekly. Switch to my weekly drawing set. Finish up this vid. What do we got going on here? Do these cycles make sense? Let's take a look at this together. Yeah, that's a pretty good hit there. That's a good hit there. That's good there. That is not. The market was moving up, but this candlestick right here technically is the low. That happens when you have a strong market. This is absolutely bang gang busting. That nailed it. This one's a little weak, but it's there. Okay, so these cycles are really good. We can live with that. What's this? August 21st. Okay. A low, cycle low in gold, August 21st. The next one is approximately December 19th. Of this year, yep. December 19th. That's that one. Okay? And I think that's it, guys and gals. Premium members only. Nobody else is getting this stuff anymore. Enjoy it. Rewind the video. Pause it. Okay? For those that are interested in the S&P 500 hourly stuff, it's in this video. Just go back, pause it, find it. All right? That's it, guys and gals. Hope you're having a good one. God bless all of you. Be safe. Watch out for one another. Treat each other with kindness. Okay? Talk to y'all real soon again next time.